What's up, guys, and welcome back to Morecambe, and welcome to transfer deadline day. We've made it all the way to the end of the transfer window, and well, a lot has happened, quite frankly. Our fishing tycoon from Morecambe has put in an absolute boatload of money into the team. I think we managed to get £40 million to spend, and it's all change, quite frankly, all change. As you can remember, Koumya wanted to leave. He actually felt he was underpaid, which is interesting given that I was offering him what he asked for on his contract agreements talks, but he just wasn't having it. Wouldn't sign, wouldn't even look at any contracts I put in front of him. So we had to sell him. A couple of teams came in for him. Mainly number one was Arsenal came in, and I was actually quite surprised that a team of the level of Arsenal came in from. I was expecting something maybe low league, Premier League sort of championship, maybe even sort of position. But Arsenal came in for him, and they said, I can't remember what they offered, but I put in a ridiculous counter offer of 25 million, and they basically said no, we're not paying that, and ended all talks. So it was a ridiculous offer because I was hoping to see if I could get a ridiculous sum for him. And then Everton came in for him, and I countered again with £20 million offer, and they said no, but how about 14? And I said, okay, maybe about 15, and then they agreed. So I think we got about 15 million from him in the end. And from there, we made a few signings. We signed Demarai Gray for about 7 million, which was actually quite a good deal given that he's only 23 and he's got really good stats, he's got really good potential, and he's got potential to be special, so I think he can get to about sort of mid 80s to high 80s on that level, and if we train him we can get even better than that. But look at his physical stats. I mean, acceleration and sprint speed are just mad, agility and balance really good, ball control and dribbling, so he's just an absolute beast at going past people. He's only 3-star skills, but that's nothing too bad, to be honest. Like 4-star would be perfect, but I'll take 3 stars for 7 million. Absolute bargain. On the other side, we also sold Barrinho as well. I think Nice came in for him, and I agreed an offer of I think 8 million for him. And Barrinho was kind of annoying me, to be honest. He started off really well. I mean, we've had him for a long time. I think I signed him in this is my first season with Morecambe, and he's come a long way since then. But he kind of started to plateau. He didn't really gain many points, and his rating kind of stayed where it was for a long time. And he was kind of annoying me more. I can't even remember the last time I scored a goal with him. He always found himself in stupid positions. He couldn't get past people. Ultimately, he was just really starting to annoy me. So I sold him 8 million. Pretty happy with that. Brought in a Adama Traore from Middlesbrough, and I think that was about 13 million pounds I think I paid for him. He's on decent wages. I can't remember exactly what he's on, but it's nothing massive, but it's not like tiny. I think Demarai Gray is only on like 20 grand a week, which is again 7 million and 20 grand a week for a 77 rated 23-year-old who's just going to get better. Not bad. Lewis Baker's finally back from injury, which is an absolute godsend. Obviously, Ndidi is still here. This guy, Michelin, we signed from Toulouse, who he's got decent stats. Again, 22, really good potential. His speed is acceptable. It's nothing amazing. Decent stamina, and he's just kind of like average mostly, but he's got really good potential. He's got ability to get really good. His ball control and dribbling are really good as well. Well, I say really good. They're decent. But what he's really good at is that 80 crossing rating. And to have a fullback who can cross, well, technically it's a wing back. And wing backs you really want them to be able to whip balls into the centre of the box and put them on the head of your striker. So he's got an 80 rated crossing, which is really not that bad. So for a fullback with 80 crossing, I looked at a few different right backs, but I think ultimately I just didn't have the funds to get any of them. So I decided that he's probably worth it going in for. I think I only got him for about 4 million or something like that, which isn't bad. So especially given that he's only 23 years old, or 22 or whatever he was. Ducksworth as well, he's come up quite a bit. He's 77 rated now. He started off only 71, and the reason I managed to get him so high so quickly is because for a defender, His defending stats were pretty shite, quite frankly. His defensive stats were probably, I think his defensive stats were in the 60s. Yeah, I've managed to get his tackling up, but they started off so low, and I think as well, what else was there? Marking's only 79, and interceptions, yeah, interceptions are only 71. So for a defender, he's got really good physical stats, but his actual technical stats were pretty average to begin with. So I've been able to get him up really quickly by just increasing mainly his interceptions and his marking stats. I managed to get them up a couple of points, and yeah, he's gone through the roof on his rating. So yeah, quite happy with that. Now, strategically hidden behind the goalkeeper is my biggest achievement of this transfer window. Yes, that is David Luiz. And honestly, you will not believe how cheap I managed to get him. I was looking at defenders for ages, trying to find somebody who could fit that back line really nicely. And I looked at potentially young players, people like Michael Keane. I even looked at things like Andreas Christensen, who've got really good potential. But everybody I looked at they were asking 20 million. I think Michael Keane they were wanting 14 million for, which is not bad. But I mean, he's only 78 rated, and he's going to get better. But I don't know how much better he's going to get. And then I also looked at some of the older players. I looked at Chiellini, at Thiago Silva, Sergio Ramos. Who else did I look at? Godin as well I looked at. And I looked at all these players, and they're all like sort of like low to mid 30s. Like I think Chiellini's now 35. But I was looking at them, and I think Chiellini's still like 82 rated or something like that. Godin's like 84, 85 rated, and he's 34 I think now. And I was expecting to be able to find one that's got maybe a year left in a contract and pick them up, either like on a free or like really, really cheap, but none of them were available for that sort of thing. And everybody I asked, like Thiago Silva, they were looking for like 15, 16 million for. Chiellini, they were looking for like 20 million. So I decided, but I didn't really decide anything. I was getting to the end of the transfer window, and I was really needing a defender. And David Luiz popped up on my thing with 1 year left on his contract. He was out of form apparently with Chelsea. He's really performing badly. And my chief executive was saying that we could potentially get the deal done for 7 to 9 million. And I was like, right, okay. So I stuck in a really cheeky offer, 5 million. And Chelsea turned around and went, yeah, that's fine. 5 million. We'll take that. So I'm paying him like 140 grand a week, which is like our highest paid player. I think Lewis Baker's on 100 grand a week. But I tried offering him less, and he just wouldn't take it. He was just adamant that he was going to get 140 grand a week or nothing. So ultimately, in the end, I managed to move some funds around, and we managed to seal the deal. But for 5 million, for an 84 rated defender, he's only 32, so he's got a couple, maybe three more years. He'll start going down rating in the next year or so, but like he's like by the time he's 32, like by the time he's 34, he's probably going to be still like at least high 70s, low, like 80 maybe. Yeah, I mean, he's got really good like all these long passer, long shot taker, all these sort of things. His physical stats are still really good, and his technical stats as well are still really good. I mean, look at that: 85 stand tackle, 84 slide tackle. He's just a beast. Like, he's just an absolute beast. So yeah, for £5 million, over the moon, absolutely over the moon to get somebody of his level for £5 million. Behind him, I signed this Johan Cardinal from Nice for I think we agreed a fee of about £14 million, which it's not bad. It's a decent amount of money, but he's only 25 and he's 82 rated. His goalkeeping skills are, well, his stats are very nice, like 85 reflexes, 83 positioning, kicking's decent, handling could be better, and his diving 81. So all in all, quite a balanced goalkeeper, nothing like massively high. A lot of goalkeepers you see who have like really good kicking, but then their actual goalkeeping like skills are pretty average, or they have like really good goalkeeping skills but their kicking's really bad, or the positioning's really bad. He's just nicely balanced, everything there around the 80 mark. So yeah, very happy with that. He has made a couple of glaring errors so far in the season, and Yeah, I'm not too happy with that, to be honest. I'm hoping he cuts that shit out of his game, because apart from that, he looks like a very good goalkeeper, and he's only going to get better as well, given he's only 25 years old. Moving to the bench, we also have this guy, Dongu Tosifak. He's also got a double-barreled first name, so I mean, God only knows how you print a shirt with that name on it. But he's 75 rated, he's only 24 years old, and I mean, look at those physical stats. Just look at them. He's an absolute monster. He's got really nice pace, is really good jumping, strength 81. His technical stats aren't great. He's a finisher, and that's about it. I mean, even his finishing's not great. He's just really physical. That's basically what he's good at. Is he's just good at being physical. So I signed him as a sort of a counter to Barroso. If we compare him to Barroso, you can see that Barroso's his skills, like his technical ability, far better. Very good ball control, curve, dribbling. Finishing's about the same. Long shots are a wee bit better, and his shot power is about the same as well. But he's just very technical, ball control wise. And again, if you look at his physical stats, he's quick, but he's not as quick as Tosifak. And his physical stats aren't quite as nice as Tosifak, although he's a better player in general. Tosifak, it's just a really good player to have to put on in the last 10 minutes of a game if you're drawing it or you're losing and you need a goal. Somebody you can just throw balls at and he'll knock them down, head them in the goal. So yeah, just somebody, a bit of contrast for Barroso to work with up front, and just nice to have that sort of different kind of player. Sar we signed in January, coming on very nicely. Again, he's got 99 sprint speed, so he's an absolute beast. Quite happy with him. He's coming on very nicely. Loftus-Cheek we managed to sign for, I think, 5 million? No, I think it was about 7 million in the end. And he's just a player that I'll use in between games, putting on instead of Ndidi or Baker, and just kind of somebody, I was looking for somebody who could kind of like fill the very sort of utilitarian role where he's not just good at going forward and attacking, but he can also defend as well, and I think he fills that role very nicely. We can put him in either the defensive or the attacking sort of midfield position, and he'd be quite comfortable in that situation. I didn't mean to do that, go back in there. Right. Going further down, I think that's it pretty much in terms of our signings. Still got a lot of players we need to get rid of. Luke Conlon, who's been wanting to leave for the last year pretty much, like 6 months to a year, I've had absolutely zero offers for him. So I'm hoping in the last 10 hours of this transfer window he'll actually get an offer come in for him. Turner and Stockton are both transfer listed, as is Murphy and Wakefield. I don't want to sell both of them, but I'll sell one of them if I get an offer. But yeah, I think as well, all these youth players I've got them all listed for loan. So hopefully we get a load of offers in the last 10 hours that we can clear out some of that team, because it's not really necessary. But our first team, looking very solid, very nice, and so far in the league, performing very nicely. Transfer deadline day, I can't actually see what the league is, but we're sitting sort of top half. We won actually our first 3 games of the season. We beat who did we play first? You know what? I'll just look at my calendar. That's the best way. If we go into the calendar, right? We played Everton first game of the season. We won 2-1 against Everton. It was it was actually a very good game. Traore scored, and Demarai Gray set up the second goal as well for us. So very solid game there. Man City, we were 2-0 up. They managed to pull it back, but the team that they put out, I think I'll be able to show you the team at the end of the game. But their first team, they brought on people like Aguero and De Bruyne and Sterling and stuff at half time. Their first team, I mean, they still have Wilfred Bonney for some fucking reason. I have no idea, but they have Wilfred Bonney and they were playing him. So we absolutely dominated the first half, got 2 goals, and then sat back in the second half. They were much better in the second half once they brought in Aguero. Aguero managed to get a goal back, but it wasn't enough, and they ultimately lost the game. Stoke, again, 2-1, we managed to win. All 3 games, 2-1. And we won that game 2-1 on extra time. So it was 0-0 at the end of full time. We went to extra time, we managed to win 2-1. That's the EFL Cup. So Stoke out the EFL Cup, we progressed. That was nice. And then, sadly, we played Stoke again today, transfer deadline day, and lost 4-1. So it was a big reality check for us. I don't know if the Stoke were just playing a weakened team, on the cup game, and then on the main game, playing them twice in 4 days. They absolutely ruined us, quite frankly. They signed some guy who scored a hat-trick. We got one back, it was 2-1 at one stage, and then they went and scored a third and then a fourth, and yeah, it was game over at that point. There was no coming back from that. So yeah, a big reality check for us. I was playing a bit of a weakened team because my best team played this game, and I put out a bit of a weakened team going into this game. So that's my excuse anyway. And yeah, it was not nice. It was not a nice game, but we're still positioned quite nicely in the league. There you go. We're sitting sixth at the moment, which not bad after 3 games, 6 points from 3 games, pretty decent. Sunderland, for some reason, are doing really well, and I saw a news article that David Moyes thinks that Sunderland can aim for Europe, which, I mean, they finished, I think, 10th last season, so yeah. Also, that is the most ridiculous table after 3 games. All Chelsea, Arsenal, City and United have failed to even get... Sorry, they've got 3 points from 3 games. That's ridiculous. And then Spurs have only drawn 1 game. They've only played 2, actually, some of them. But Spurs have only drew 1 and lost 1 game. Liverpool are in the relegation zone after 3 matches. They've not won a single game. So are Everton. Right, well hopefully that stuff sorts itself out in a few weeks, because that's ridiculous at the moment. Have a look at some of the big transfers, and you can see Jesse Rodriguez to Arsenal for 42 million, Pjanic from Juventus to United for 42.5 million, and Corona from Porto to Liverpool for 46.5 million as well. Again, nothing massive, no massive transfers like you would expect for a summer transfer window. I would have expected at least a 70 million in there somewhere. I think there was that one season where Man United signed Lukaku and Griezmann for... Oh no, sorry, who was it? Suarez and Griezmann for, I think, 90 million each, pretty much. And yeah, that was in one transfer window, so this transfer window, not very nice, not very good transfer. So I'm hoping the last 10 hours of this, there's some absolutely mad action. Actually, we're still looking for a player. We're looking for a left back. So if we can find a very good left back, then probably going to have to get him on loan because we don't have much money left. But we'll see what happens. We've got some inquiries out there. Right, I'm going to let Sandoval go out on loan because we've got... Well, we have 6 centre backs, so I'll let him go out on loan. We can always recall him if necessary. Right, we've got some transfer inquiries that went out, and I'm not going to be able to forward any of these, but I'm hoping that I could maybe try and sign somebody on loan for the season. So we'll stick some offers out there for a loan and see if anybody actually accepts any of them. Right, Basel have accepted a loan offer for Blaise Rivieros, who's apparently quite good. So we'll agree to that. We'll sign him. Not actually sure what his rating is, but I'm informed that he's quite a good player. So hopefully, he is actually quite a good player. Is he already signed? Have we got him? Have we got him? We do have him. He's 72 rated, so that's not bad. As a sort of left back, sort of not a replacement, but as a sort of substitute for Kiyomiya, or Kepikawa, sorry. We can fire him in there. Quick, acceleration really good, sprint speed good, stamina as well, 89 stamina. So you can just go for days and days. 77 crossing, again his technical stats aren't great, but looking for a sort of full-back position, somebody who could just bomb up and down that line all day, he's got all the stats for that. So yeah, it looks like a solid player, solid signing, so happy with that. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much everything that I want. That's all the positions filled that I was hoping to find somebody for. Hopefully I get a couple of offers in the last few hours of transfer deadline day for players loaned out, and yeah, we'll see what happens. Still no big massive transfers, as we say that. Kingsley Coman from Chelsea to Real Madrid for 52 million. I'm not sure when Coman went to Chelsea. I think that possibly happened after a season or 2. So I don't think he's been at Chelsea for very long, but he's in the door and out again. So yeah, that's a thing that's happened. Okay, we'll let Callagher go on loan as well. Let him get better after Gillingham. Not sure if that's like a great idea, but we can always recall him if necessary. Oscar, who is still at Chelsea, has now moved to Barcelona for £63 million on transfer deadline day. So Chelsea have just sold two of their bigger players to the two big Spanish teams for a combined total of £110 million almost. Well, yeah, over 110 million, 115 million pounds. It's not bad business. Two players, 115 million. As long as they've got the players to replace it, then a solid piece of business. Yeah, so Chelsea have spent £64 million on Danilo Jackson. Not sure which Jackson that is. And Murillo from Inter. And out has gone David Luiz for 5 million, Loftus-Cheek for 7, and then the rest of that is made up with Oscar and Kingsley Coman. Takes their total profit to £125 million, which is not bad. Dortmund have just slapped down £52.5 million for Andre Silva as well from Porto, so that's a big transfer. That's not bad, but we've had some pretty decent transfers on the last transfer deadline day, and that has ended it. £343 million in transfer deadline day, which is quite a large amount, but not, well, actually no, it's not that much at all, to be honest. That's could have seen much higher than that. £343 million. I've seen after a couple of seasons, I've seen a summer transfer deadline day go into the like 900 million region just in one day alone, which is absolutely ridiculous. But 343 is pretty boring actually. It's not a very good transfer deadline day. I mean, yeah, it is, because there were some hefty transfers, but yeah, not compared to some of the ones that I've seen in the past. Anyway, that's probably going to do it for this week. We're now into the season as it is. We're stuck with the squad we've got, which unfortunately nobody came in for any of our old players, so we've still got all these lads stuck around. Conlon, who really wanted to leave, nobody came in for him. All these lads were transfer listed and nobody wanted them, so yeah, that's the thing. We're just going to have to deal with that. Might just release them. Folk like Conlon and Wakefield might just release them, because it's probably going to be easier to get rid of them than to put up with all their moaning and bitching all season. So yeah, I think we might just have to do that at some point. But for now, this is our team. David Luiz still extremely happy with it. Rivieros on the out on the left, and Michelin on the right. Cardinal in goal. Ndidi, Baker, Damari Gray, Adama Traore, and Barroso. Just so much potential in this team. With the exception of David Luiz, every player in this team has the potential to get better. Much better. So yeah, with that, I think we'll end this video. So if you've enjoyed it, then the ridiculousness of my team now, complete change, then give that big thumbs up button down below a click, and then if you've not already, hit that red subscribe button as well down below. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next week for when we finally get into the season, start playing some games, and probably end up lower than 6th. But if we're still in that area by the time we get round to next week, then yeah, I'll be extremely happy. So until then, cheerio.